Then, during the operation, there are complications, Ayana continued, her voice turning cold. A fatal reaction to anesthesia, sudden internal bleeding, something that looks tragic but never looks like malpractice. The patient dies. The insurance pays out. And a few weeks later, Dr. Vaughn mysteriously receives a large donation for his research. Nia felt the room spin. He's killing people for money, she whispered. Ayana nodded grimly. He is a butcher, a predator who hides behind a white coat. But how did you know about Tariq? About me? Nia asked. Ayana folded her hands tightly in her lap. I was on duty tonight in the surgical wing. I saw an emergency surgery scheduled under Tariq's name. The diagnosis code was blunt abdominal trauma. But something was wrong. What? There was no ER report, no paramedic notes, no scans, nothing. In emergencies, patient data enters the system automatically the moment they arrive. But in Tariq's file, the pre-op section was blank. It was like this patient had been dropped into the system from thin air. A chill crawled up Nia's neck. So, Ayana said, I checked the system logs. Dr. Vaughn had entered Tariq's emergency data manually from his own computer. That never happens for real trauma cases, so I did something reckless. Nia leaned closer, gripping her arm. I knew the access code to his office, Ayana whispered. An hour ago, while he was prepping for surgery, I snuck in. I had to know what he was hiding. Her eyes darkened. In a locked drawer, I found the real file, Tariq's medical checkup from 2 days ago. He was in perfect health. Of course he was, Nia breathed bitterly. And next to it, Ayana said, voice dropping even lower, was your file, a copy of the new life insurance policy. Nia's stomach twisted. The amount, Ayana swallowed hard. It was astronomical. And at the bottom, where the medical advisor signs, Dr. Vaughn's name. Everything fit. The fake accident, the stage surgery, the plan for a fatal complication tomorrow. I knew they'd call you soon, Ayana said. I didn't know the full plan, but I knew you could not walk into their arms without the truth. So I went to intercept you. And thank God I did. Nia squeezed Ayana's hand. You saved my life. Not yet, Ayana said. We're only just beginning. Nia's breath trembled. What do I have to do? You must act, Ayana said firmly. They expect a terrified, devastated wife. You have to give them exactly that. Cry, shake, look broken. I don't think I can look at Tariq and pretend. You must, Ayana insisted. Right now, Tariq is probably in the recovery room, hooked to fake monitors, waiting for the moment you walk in. Dr. Vaughn will give you his fake speech. Then he'll present the consent form for tomorrow's urgent procedure. If I refuse, they'll know. Don't refuse outright, Ayana said. Say you're in shock. Say you need time to think. Say you have to call your mother-in-law. Anything. The important thing is, do, not, sign, tonight. Nia swallowed. Why? What do we need time for? To get physical evidence, Ayana said. We can't run Dr. Vaughn has influence everywhere, and we can't go to the police with just our story. They'll call you paranoid, emotional, irrational. Nia's voice cracked. So what proof do we need? Ayana looked directly into her eyes. The kind of proof that puts all 3 of them in handcuffs before sunrise. First, Ayana said, counting on her fingers, Tariq's real health report, the one I saw in Dr. Vaughn's office. Second, the file of the fake surgery in the hospital system. And third, the security camera recordings. Nia's eyes widened. Security cameras? Yes, Ayana nodded. I'm sure Tariq didn't arrive in an ambulance. He came by himself. He probably parked in the underground staff garage. It's secluded and barely monitored by guards. If we can get the security footage showing him walking calmly into the hospital tonight, we can destroy their entire accident alibi. Nia's mind began to connect the threads. Dr. Vaughn's office is in the basement. Correct, said Ayana. Right next to the archives and the camera server room. That basement is his lair. Ayana reached into her pocket and pulled out a white access card. This is a spare master key card. I swiped it from the reception desk earlier. But there's a problem. The basement hallway is covered by cameras, and Dr. Vaughn often monitors those feeds himself. The card suddenly felt enormous in Nia's hand, like it was carved out of lead. I'll create a distraction, Ayana said calmly. I'm going to trigger a fire alarm on the upper floors. That will pull security away from the basement. Will that give me enough time? Nia whispered, pulse racing. You'll have minutes. No more. Ayana gripped her shoulders. You must sneak into the basement. Go into Dr. Vaughn's office. Find Tariq's real file. Then go to the server room and pull the footage from the last few hours. If you have a data cable, you can transfer it to your phone. Nia checked her robe pockets. Nothing. She had her phone, but no cable. Use this, Ayana said, unclipping a tiny USB drive from her keychain. Plug it into the server tower, copy everything, be fast. Ayana, I don't know how to do this, Nia said, panic rising again. Yes, you do, Ayana interrupted firmly. You have to. It's the only chance we have. Afterward, meet me at the basement emergency exit. We'll leave together. Nia felt like she had been thrown into the mouth of a wolf, sneak into Dr. Vaughn's territory, steal evidence, all while her murderers waited upstairs, thinking she was walking right into their trap. Suddenly, Nia's phone vibrated in her hand. The name on the screen made her stomach twist. Dr. Alistair Vaughn. They've started, Ayana whispered. Answer it, and act. Nia inhaled deeply. The stale locker room air scraped into her lungs. The phone buzzed like a venomous creature in her hand. This was her moment. Remember, weak, hysterical, submissive, Ayana murmured. Nia wiped her face, let her breath shake, and pressed the green icon. She channeled every ounce of betrayal, fear, and heartbreak into her voice, a trembling, fragile sob. Yes, doctor? Mrs. Nia, thank God, Dr. Vaughn said. His voice was warm, tender, compassionate. It made Nia want to scream. Where are you? We've been waiting for you. I need to speak with you as soon as possible. I just arrived, Nia choked out, adding the sound of a stifled cry. Tariq, my husband. How is he, doctor? A dramatic, practiced pause. He is a strong man, Mrs. Nia. The operation was very difficult. We almost lost him. The bleeding was severe, far worse than we initially expected. Nia closed her eyes, forcing herself to picture Tariq walking out of the operating room alive, healthy, smiling. My team and I managed to stop the bleeding, Dr. Vaughn continued. He's still very weak, but he's past the worst. He's in the recovery unit on the 4th floor. Oh, thank God. Thank God, Nia whispered, relief hitting her like a wave. You can see him now, Dr. Vaughn said. But there's another matter we must discuss immediately regarding the next steps. Meet me in recovery room 2. Yes, doctor, I'm coming. Nia hung up and turned to Nurse Ayana with a hardened stare. It's time, she said. Remember, Ayana warned, gripping her shoulders, they'll bring out the papers. Do not sign. Make an excuse, any excuse. Say you're in shock. Say you need to call family, then get out. I'll create the distraction. Take the service elevator near the emergency stairs. I'll meet you in the basement. Bring the evidence. Nia nodded once, cold and composed. She slipped out of the locker room. The hallway was too calm, too peaceful for the storm she felt building inside her. She took one more breath and stepped forward, walking like a broken, terrified wife on the outside. But inside, she was a hunter. She found the door marked Recovery Room 2. The room was dim, lit by the pale glow of medical monitors. And there they were, Dr. Vaughn, clipboard in hand, Shanice, the snake, pretending to care, and Tariq, lying still on the bed. Nia almost laughed. The acting was ridiculous. Tariq's face was painted pale. An IV, definitely just saline, dripped softly beside him. The ECG beeped steadily, beep, 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 like a metronome for their performance. Oh, baby! Nia cried, rushing to him. His hand was warm, strong, not a man who had just nearly died. Doctor, he's so pale! Her tears were perfect. He's lost a lot of blood, Dr. Vaughn replied gently. But he'll recover. Thank God. Then, the word she was waiting for. But, Nia stiffened. While we were operating, we discovered a large blood clot near his liver. Extremely dangerous. It could burst at any moment. And you mean, you have to remove it? She whispered. Yes. I've scheduled an emergency procedure tomorrow morning at 9. Shanice almost smiled. Another operation. Another chance to kill. The area is delicate, Dr. Vaughn continued. There's a high risk of complications. I need your consent. He held the clipboard toward her. The blank line waited for her signature. Her death sentence, or Tarek's, or both. Whatever it was, this was the trap. Suddenly, Tarek's eyelids fluttered. Sign it, baby, he whispered weakly. I trust Dr. Vaughn. Please. He couldn't even act properly. Shanice stepped closer. Mrs. Nia, please, it's for his safety. 3 wolves, 1 lamb. Nia's hands shook, half performance, half real fear. I can't, she said. Mrs. Nia, this is urgent, Dr. Vaughn insisted. I can't, Nia screamed, pushing the clipboard away. I feel sick. I need to call his mother. I can't make this decision alone. She spun away, gasping. I need air. I need the bathroom. Before any of them could react, she ran. Nia! Mrs. Nia, wait! Dr. Vaughn shouted. She didn't look back. She sprinted down the hall, past the nurse's station, heart pounding. Then, bwah! A fire alarm exploded through the building. Ayana's distraction. Staff rushed out of rooms. Security ran toward the elevators. No one noticed her slip to the end of the hallway. She swiped Ayana's card at the service elevator door. It opened. She stepped inside the metal box, smelling of oil and dust. The doors closed. The alarm grew distant. Alone, she exhaled shakily. Round 1, won. Now she was descending straight into the wolf's den. The elevator dinged softly as it reached the basement. It was dark, damp, and cold. Pipes ran overhead, dripping water. Concrete floors cracked beneath her shoes. A faint echo of the alarm throbbed from above. She moved forward, clutching the access card tightly. Archives, maintenance, server room. And then she saw them. Dr. Alistair Vaughn, Chief of Surgery Server Room, restricted access. This was his lair. She entered his office first. Luxurious carpet, mahogany desk, bookshelves like a private library. The air smelled of expensive coffee and leather. Malpractice money really did pay well. She rushed to the desk, locked. No time to pick it. Her eyes darted to the shelves. Binders, files, thick medical texts. She scanned the labels. Research agenda patients, special projects. She grabbed special projects. Inside, a thin folder with no label. As she opened it, her heart stopped. It happened the moment I rushed toward the operating room, breathless and trembling. Panic flooding through me after hearing that my husband was in critical condition. Before I could reach the door, a nurse suddenly grabbed my arm. Hide and trust me, she whispered urgently. Her eyes told me everything. Something wasn't right. Without hesitation, I slipped into the small adjoining room and stayed completely still. 10 minutes later, the door slowly opened. And what I saw made my blood run cold. Outside, the rain poured heavily, as if the sky itself was grieving. The wall clock in Nia's apartment struck midnight. Clad in her long silk robe, she paced the living room restlessly. Her eyes kept returning to the silent phone on the table, hoping, wishing, it would light up, but it didn't. Tariq still wasn't home. He often worked late on the massive construction project he managed, but tonight felt different, heavier. A strange uneasiness sat in her chest, cold and sharp. They had argued earlier that afternoon, something small, something silly, money. She'd asked him to slow down on his extravagant spending. He'd snapped, saying she didn't understand the pressure he was under. Normally, he would have at least sent a message by now, still at the site. Traffic is crazy, don't wait up. But tonight, his phone remained silent. She had called him 3 times. The first call rang with no answer. The next 2 went straight to voicemail. Maybe his battery died. But the bad feeling only grew stronger. The rain intensified, pounding the windows like a furious drum. Nia pulled the curtains aside and stared into the empty, glistening street. A chill crawled up her spine. She thought of her mother-in-law, who worried excessively whenever Tariq was late. Luckily, she didn't live with them. The night would have been unbearable. Then, exactly at 12:30 a.m., the landline rang. The sound was so sudden and sharp that Nia flinched. Her fingers shook as she answered. Hello? Am I speaking with Mrs. Nia, wife of Mr. Tariq? The voice was monotone, professional, and terrifyingly cold. Yes. This is she. Has something happened to my husband? Her voice cracked. Ma'am, please remain calm. Your husband has been involved in a severe accident on Interstate 85. He has just arrived at Atlanta General Medical Center. His condition is critical. He is being taken into surgery right now. Critical. The word echoed in her skull like a distant scream. The operation will be led by Dr. Alistair Vaughn. The voice continued. That name brought the smallest thread of comfort. Tariq trusted him deeply. I'm coming. I'm leaving right now, she whispered, hanging up before the caller could reply. For a few seconds, she couldn't move. Her legs felt numb. No, this couldn't be happening. Tariq, the strong, unshakable man she loved, now fighting for his life? Then adrenaline surged through her. She grabbed her long coat and ran. If you're still here, holding your breath with Nia, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support brings the next chapter to life. Nia didn't care about her appearance. She didn't even change out of her silk robe. Car keys, wallet. That was all she could think of. She bolted out of the apartment, took the elevator, and felt completely hollow inside. The moment she stepped out of the building, the rain slapped her cheeks with icy cruelty. She ran across the parking lot toward her car. Her hands were shaking so violently, she almost dropped the keys. It took her 3 tries before the engine finally roared to life. She slammed her foot on the gas, not waiting for anything, not even the windshield to clear. The drive to Atlanta General normally took 30 minutes, but under the pounding rain and her overwhelming panic, it felt endless. She drove like someone possessed. Tears blurred her vision, mixing with the torrents of rain on the windshield. Even the frantic wipers couldn't keep up. Images flickered in her mind. Tariq laughing over dinner last week. Tariq angry during their argument. That afternoon, guilt stabbed her heart. Why had they argued? Why over money? What if that argument was the last thing he ever heard from her? Lord, save him. Please save my husband. Nia whispered again and again, her lips trembling with each prayer. She didn't care about traffic lights or speed limits. All she cared about was reaching him before the word critical became irreversible. Finally, the massive white building of Atlanta General came into view. Nia parked recklessly in the emergency zone, ignoring the shouting security guard. She sprinted inside the lobby, soaked to the bone. My husband, Tariq, traffic accident, she gasped to the nurse at the desk. The nurse typed quickly. Tariq, yes. They took him up to the 4th floor, surgical wing. Elevator, turn left. Operating room 3. Thank you. Nia didn't waste a second. She stabbed the elevator button repeatedly, but it felt like an eternity. Too long, way too long. She ran for the emergency stairs instead and climbed 4 flights without stopping. Her heart thundered painfully. When she reached the 4th floor, the hallway was silent and eerily sterile. The smell of disinfectant hit her like a wall, sharp, cold, and suffocating. The corridor stretched long beneath harsh fluorescent lights. Turning left, she saw it. At the very end, double steel doors. Above them, a glowing red sign. Operating room 3. In session, Tariq was behind those doors, fighting between life and death. Nia broke into a run again, tears flooding her eyes. She had to go in. She had to see him. Her trembling hand reached toward the cold steel door. She could feel the chill of the air-conditioned room seeping through. She took a deep breath, ready to burst in, ready to face whatever waited inside. But just as her fingertips brushed the metal, a firm hand grabbed her arm. Don't do it! Nia gasped and spun around. A young nurse stood there, eyes wide with fear. Her scrubs were immaculate, mask hanging around her neck, but her face was pale. Her ID read, Ayana Nurse. You're Mr. Tariq's wife, right? She whispered urgently. Yes, yes! My husband is in there. Let me go! Nia cried, trying to pull away. No! Ayana tightened her grip, dragging her away from the door. You can't go in. They must not know you're here. It's extremely important. What are you talking about? Who are they? My husband is. Listen to me. Ayana's eyes burned with desperation. I know this sounds insane, but this is not a rescue operation. It's a trap. The word hit Nia like ice water. A trap? Dr. Vaughn is in there, Nia said, breathless. That's exactly the problem, Ayana hissed. There's no time to explain. You need to hide, now. Nia froze, confusion twisting with fear. Hide? From her husband's surgery? Ayana dragged her toward a dark wooden door, partially hidden behind a vending machine. No label, no sign. That's a staff locker room. Hardly anyone uses it at night. Get inside. Lock the door. Whatever you hear, don't make a sound. Don't come out until I come get you, no matter what happens. Nia's mind spun wildly. Nothing made sense. But the terror in Ayana's eyes? That was real. Why should I trust you? Nia whispered. Because I'm the only one who saw your husband's real medical chart before Dr. Vaughn changed it, Ayana said in a rush. He's not critical from the accident. Please hurry. They could come out any moment. That was the breaking point. Ayana pushed Nia into the locker room. The space was dark and stale, smelling of old coffee and sweat. Lock it. And trust me, Ayana whispered one last time before closing the door. Nia heard the faint click. She was alone. Alone in total darkness. Her hands fumbled, found the lock, and turned it. Her breathing was shallow. Her heartbeat thundered painfully in her chest. She pressed her back against the door, trying to process what had just happened. Hide. Trap. Fake chart. Dr. Vaughn. The words echoed through Nia's mind as she slid down onto the cold floor. The only light came from a thin, pale strip slipping in from under the door. She could barely see the shapes of the metal lockers surrounding her. Hugging her knees, she tried to stop the violent trembling crawling through her body. What was happening? Was Nurse Ayana insane? Or had she just saved Nia's life? Her thoughts snapped back to Tariq. If he wasn't critical, where was he? What were they doing in that operating room? Nia crawled to the door and pressed her ear against it. Silence. Only the pounding of her own heart. She peeked through the keyhole, but all she saw was the wall across the hall. Her phone read 1 a.m. Time crawled. Every second stretched like an hour. She sat alone in suffocating darkness, drowning in a silence so deep it felt alive. What if Ayana had locked her here as part of the trap? What if Tariq truly needed her? No. Her gut told her Ayana's fear was real. Too real. She listened. 1 minute. 2. Counting every distant footstep, every hum of machinery. But nothing from operating room 3. 5 minutes. Her chest tightened. The air felt thinner. Her hands shook uncontrollably. 7 minutes. She prayed. No longer only for Tariq, but for herself. 10 minutes. The longest 10 minutes of her life. Then, a crisp click in the hallway. Not her door. The operating room. Her breath caught. She pressed her eye against the small gap between the door and its frame. The red light above operating room 3 was off. The operation was over. A soft hiss followed. The steel doors slid open. Nia's body went rigid. The first figure to emerge was Dr. Alistair Vaughn. Still in blue scrubs, mask around his neck. Yet he didn't look like a man who had fought to save a life. No exhaustion, no stress, nothing. He looked calm, methodical. He peeled off his gloves, stained with what Nia instantly recognized as fake blood, and tossed them aside. A cold wave of nausea rolled through her. Then the second figure appeared. Nia braced herself for a stretcher. A pale body. Medical machines. Something, anything, that proved Tariq was the patient. But what she saw instead froze her blood. Tariq walked out of the operating room. Not on a gurney, not supported, not weak. He walked out casually, stretching, rolling his neck as though he had simply been sitting too long. Completely healthy, completely unharmed. Nia covered her mouth to keep from screaming. This wasn't real. It couldn't be real. A third silhouette appeared, a tall woman, elegant, long weaves flowing down her back, wearing a doctor's coat over an evening dress. Nia recognized her instantly. Khanis, Tariq's personal assistant, the one who always looked at Nia with quiet contempt. Tariq had always said Nia was imagining things. Jealous, paranoid. But Nia wasn't blind. She had just been too trusting. The plan worked perfectly, Tariq said, his voice crisp and calm. Nia felt physically punched. Dr. Vaughn chuckled. Of course it worked. The emergency staff is on my side. The fake accident report is filed. The fake ambulance showed up exactly on time. As of right now, Mr. Tariq is suffering from severe internal bleeding. Chana snickered, handing Tariq a bottle of water. I bet Nia's on her way here now, crying her eyes out, panicking like an idiot. Tariq laughed. He laughed. The laugh that once comforted her now sounded like a monster's. She'll be completely devastated. She's so stupid. Nia bit down on her own palm to stop a sob from escaping. The pain didn't matter. Nothing could compare to the agony ripping through her heart. Dr. Vaughn cleared his throat. All right. When she arrives, we must play our roles. Tariq, go to the recovery room. Lie down. We'll attach the IV and monitors. You'll look weak but stable. I know. Tariq said, rolling his eyes. I survived thanks to this brilliant doctor. And I, Dr. Vaughn continued, will give her the good and the bad news. The operation succeeded. The bleeding stopped. But? Janice asked eagerly. Dr. Vaughn smiled. I'll tell her we discovered something else during surgery. A dangerous blood clot near her liver, something requiring an urgent, high-risk procedure tomorrow morning. Tariq grinned wickedly. And if something happens to her during the procedure, a tragedy, Dr. Vaughn finished. But we will have done everything possible. And in that moment, everything clicked. The accident was fake. The surgery was fake. Tariq's injuries were fake. The target was Nia. 3 weeks earlier, the new life insurance policy, worth millions, signed by her. Tariq's sudden anger that afternoon wasn't about money. It was because she had questioned the policy premium. She had unknowingly threatened his murder plan. Nia felt her blood boil. The fear in her bones calcified into something sharp, icy, and deadly. Fury. She watched as the 3 conspirators walked down the hall, their footsteps fading toward the recovery wing. Silence returned. Nia leaned against the door, shaking violently, but no longer from fear. She was shaking from rage. How was she supposed to escape? How could she fight 3 people who had planned her murder inside a hospital? Then a sound at the door. Not from the hallway. Her door. A key. Turning. Nia froze. Her heart thrummed painfully. Had they discovered her? Were they coming back for her? The doorknob turned slowly. The door creaked open. A sliver of hallway light cut through the darkness, blinding her. A small silhouette stepped inside. Mrs. Nia, a whisper said urgently. Nia's knees almost gave out. It was Nurse Ayana. Ayana shut the door behind her and locked it again. She leaned against it, panting, her face pale as death. You saw them, she whispered. Nia couldn't speak. She nodded as tears of fury finally spilled. You heard everything? Ayana pressed. Nia nodded harder. Everything, she whispered, voice raw. The insurance, the fake surgery, their plan. For tomorrow. Ayana closed her eyes in pain. Lord have mercy. I suspected it, but to hear it. Why are you helping me? Nia choked. You're risking everything. Ayana sat beside her on the cold floor and took a shaky breath. I've suspected Dr. Vaughn for a long time, since I was a rookie nurse, she murmured. He isn't a doctor, Mrs. Nia. Nia swallowed hard. He's a butcher. Inside the thin folder, Nia found Tariq's medical checkup report dated 2 days ago. At the bottom, in bold red ink, a stamp screamed, optimal physical condition, her breath caught. So he had been perfectly healthy, another lie exposed. Next to it sat a thicker folder. She opened it. Financial reports. A bank's final notice. A bankruptcy filing. Millions in debt under Tariq's construction company. This was it. The motive. The proof. Her hands shook violently as she pulled out her phone. She opened the camera, barely able to keep it steady, and photographed every single page, the checkup, the red stamp, the debts, all of it. Done. She put everything back exactly where she found it. Now, the cameras. Nia slipped out of the office silently and crossed to the server room. She swiped Ayana's card. The door opened with a hiss of cold air. Rows of server racks hummed like restless beasts. Green and yellow lights blinked, reflecting off the metal walls. She scanned the shelves and found the monitor stack labeled Lobby Hallway 4th Floor ER Underground Staff Parking Bingo. She pulled out the USB Ayana gave her and plugged it into the recorder. A small monitor lit up with a progress bar. Copying. 10%, 20%. Her eyes flicked to the live feed of the underground parking lot. Empty. 30%. 40%. Please, hurry! Her heartbeat matched the rising numbers. 50%. 60%. Then footsteps. From outside. 2 people. Fast. Purposeful. Her blood turned to ice. The fire alarm must have been shut off. They were searching for her. 70%. 80%. Footsteps stopped outside the door. Dr. Vaughn's voice sliced through the air. She couldn't have gone far. You check my office. I'll check the server room. Nia stared at the screen. 95%. 98%. The doorknob turned. 99% copy complete. She ripped out the USB just as the server room door swung open. Nia spun, her back slamming into a metal rack. Dr. Vaughn stood in the doorway, rage burning in his eyes. Behind him, Shanice smirked like a serpent wearing human skin. Looking for me, Nia? She purred. Dr. Vaughn entered slowly, gaze falling on the USB in her hand. Hiding in the locker room, he said calmly. Pretending to break down, running down here. Did you really think we were that stupid? And Nurse Ayana? Nia managed to whisper. Dr. Vaughn chuckled. That little troublemaker? We've already taken care of her. Nia felt nausea rise. What had they done to Ayana? Shanice stepped forward and ripped Nia's phone from her hand. She opened the gallery and smiled. Ah, our evidence. Cute. One by one, she deleted the photos Tariq's checkup. The red stamp, the debt documents. Gone. But I have this, Nia shouted, holding up the USB. The footage! You can't delete this. Dr. Vaughn smiled, cold as steel. Really? Look closely at what you copied. Nia froze. What? That recording, he said almost gently, is a loop of last night's footage, prepared for nosy people like you. Nia stared at the USB. Her stomach dropped. And the medical report in my office, he continued. A fake, planted for you. The originals are gone, a trap. Everything had been a trap. Her escape, her search, her hope. All of it planned. They had shepherded her straight into the basement like a lamb to slaughter. Welcome to the trap, Mrs. Nia, Dr. Vaughn said softly. Now you have 2 options. Shanice lifted something from behind her back, a large syringe filled with a clear, deadly-looking liquid. Sign willingly. Her smile stretched. Or we make you sign. The server room felt like it was shrinking. The hum of the machines turned suffocating. The flash drive was worthless. Her photos were gone. Ayana was gone. She was alone. But the fear that tried to choke her suddenly met something stronger. The inferno inside her. They thought she was weak. They thought she was too stupid to fight back. They had no idea. If the new evidence is fake, she thought, then I'll use the old evidence. Her hands shook this time deliberately as she raised them. Oh, okay, I lost, she whispered. You win, I'll sign. Dr. Vaughn relaxed slightly. A wise choice. But, please, let me see my phone. Just one last look at my family. My mother-in-law. She pointed to the phone in Shanice's hand. Shanice rolled her eyes, but looked at Vaughn. He nodded. She can't call anyone down here. No signal, of course. They had planned everything. Shanice tossed the phone at Nia's feet. Nia crouched slowly, controlled, careful, deadly calm. Thank you, she whispered. She stood, and something in her shifted. Her posture straightened. Her eyes hardened. Her fear vanished. Dr. Vaughn and Shanice noticed. Their smiles cracked. You're right, Nia said coldly. It was a good game, good bait. She narrowed her gaze. But you got one thing wrong. And what's that? Shanice hissed. You think I discovered my husband's rot tonight. she said. But I've been smelling this trash for months. She unlocked her phone. Shanice had deleted the photos, but she didn't know how to find the hidden audio folder. Before I sign, Nia said softly, I want you to hear something. Consider it a lullaby. She hit play. For a heartbeat, nothing. Then Tariq's voice filled the room, loud and clear. No, I don't care about your gratitude. Just make sure the consulting fees are in the Swiss account by the end of the month. 2 million. Dr. Vaughn's face froze. Janice's smirk vanished. Clean them. I don't want to know how. Just make sure. Nia held her phone high. The recording was from 3 months ago. Tariq arguing with a business partner. Bribes, money laundering, shady deals for his latest construction project. She had recorded it secretly, thinking it might be useful for a divorce someday, never imagining it would now save her life. Dr. Vaughn and Janice froze, their faces drained of color. That has nothing to do with this, stuttered Dr. Vaughn. Oh, it does, doctor. Nia stepped forward, her voice cold and precise. This proves your husband's true character, a criminal, and combined with my testimony, it's enough for the police to investigate all his dealings, including the insurance scheme you set up for him. You won't leave this room alive, hissed Janice, raising the syringe like a dagger. Probably not, Nia said defiantly. But this phone, she raised it higher, is recording everything in this room, every word you've said since you walked in. Dr. Vaughn's eyes widened. The signal? He asked, panicked. Bluff, Nia said. The signal is cut. But this recording, she continued, voice rising, is linked to the cloud. If my heart stops, or I fail to enter a password in the next 5 minutes, everything, your threats, your confession, Tariq's laundering, will be sent automatically to my lawyer, the editor-in-chief of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and my mother-in-law. Vaughn's face turned white. The bluff had worked. Stop her, he shouted, panic overtaking him. Janice, inject her now! Janice snapped out of her stupor, syringe poised, lunging at Nia. Nia backed up, crashing into cold server racks. There was nowhere to go. She raised her hands, bracing for the strike. Stop! The voice thundered again. The server room door burst open. Tariq, still wearing the scrubs, red-faced, eyes ablaze, not weak, not sick, but a king enraged at betrayal. What the hell is going on here? He roared. His voice bounced off the concrete walls. He stopped, taking in the scene. Dr. Vaughn panicking. Janice frozen, syringe in hand. Nia standing tall, phone raised like a weapon. His fury morphed into surprise. Then realization. A cold mask of hate settled over him. His wife, she knew, a stalemate. 4 people in the humming server room. 3 predators. 1 prey. With the ultimate card. Tariq's gaze never left her. You knew, he said, dangerously low. I knew everything, Tariq, Nia replied, her voice cold. The fake surgery, the insurance, your plan to kill me tomorrow on the operating table. He spun toward Dr. Vaughn. You said she wouldn't know. You said Ayanna was taken care of. She set us up, stammered Vaughn, pointing at Nia. She faked the hysteria. She has a recording. An old recording of your business dealings. Tariq's face hardened. What recording? Play it. Nia pressed play again. Tariq's voice ordering the laundering of $2 million filled the room. He froze. He recognized the words, the tone, the timing, but had no idea she had recorded it. So this was your plan? He hissed, eyes narrowing at Nia. Just the beginning, she said, holding her phone higher. That proves your character, but this? She pointed at the device. Proof of your crimes tonight. What crimes? Tariq demanded, moving toward her. This phone, Nia said, firm, loud, unflinching. Records every word in this room. Dr. Vaughn admitting to silencing Ayanna, Janice threatening me, and now you confirming the plan. Dr. Vaughn and Janice stumbled back, but Tariq laughed, a dry, cruel laugh. Do you take me for an idiot, Nia? This is the basement. No signal, no cloud, no lawyers. Whatever's on that phone will be destroyed here. Her heart sank. The bluff had failed. Give me that phone, he ordered, reaching out. No, whispered Nia. Give it to me, he growled. He lunged, faster than expected. His hand clamped over her wrist, twisting brutally. Nia screamed. The phone slipped, sliding across the concrete. Screen cracked. Game over, baby, Tariq sneered, raising his foot to crush it. Then a new voice, loud, commanding. Everyone turned. Nurse Ayana, unharmed, tall, fierce, righteous, and not alone. Behind her, two burly hospital security guards, stern and vigilant. Tariq's eyes widened. Dr. Vaughn staggered back. No. Impossible, he whispered. Did you really think I'd send Mrs. Nia alone into your lair? Ayana's voice rang clear. What? Stuttered Vaughn. The fire alarm? It wasn't for the guards. It was for you. While you chased her, these gentlemen and I. She pointed to the guards. Went to the central control room. We disabled the fake loop on the server, took control. Ayana nodded toward a small red-lighted camera in the corner. It recorded every word, every threat, every confession in real time. Head of hospital security has all of it. Vaughn and Shanice stared, horror and disbelief on their faces. Trapped. Completely trapped. And that flash drive, Nia added, pointing at it still on the recorder table. The real bait, to keep you busy while we secured everything. She looked at Tariq. While you were hunting me, Ayana copied your arrival on camera. You, walking calmly through the staff lobby, laughing with Shanice. Every step recorded. Silence. The hum of the servers was the only sound. Tariq's perfect plan crumbled. Dr. Vaughn was the first to crack. He realized in that instant that his career, his life, everything he had meticulously built, was over. His eyes darted frantically around the cramped server room. Then he saw it. The syringe Shanice had dropped when Tariq entered. With a desperate roar, he lunged. Not at Nia. Not at Tariq. He attacked the only person who still posed a technical threat. Ayana, look out! Nia screamed. But Ayana didn't flinch. She had anticipated this. Dr. Vaughn's bulk barreled toward her, but Ayana stepped forward. Calm, deliberate. She pulled a syringe from her uniform pocket. Smaller than Vaughn's weapon, but just as deadly. Take this, she said softly, almost serenely. Dr. Vaughn never saw it coming. The needle plunged into his thick thigh. The potent sedative hit instantly. His eyes went wide in shock. He tried to yank it free, but his hands shook uncontrollably. His legs buckled, and he crumpled to the floor, like a puppet with its strings cut. His eyes rolled back. Unconscious. Shanice shrieked, hysterical, seeing her partner fall. Her composure shattered. She didn't attack. Instead, she spun to flee, but the second guard was faster. His strong hands gripped her arm, snapping handcuffs onto her wrists before she could react. Only Tariq remained. He stood frozen for a heartbeat, staring at the collapsed Dr. Vaughn, the sobbing Shanice, and Nia. And then, fury ignited. A blind, uncontrollable rage. This is all your fault, he roared, his voice booming over the hum of the servers. He forgot the guards. He forgot the camera. His vision narrowed to one target. Nia. He lunged. The room erupted into chaos. The first guard, still holding back Shanice, reacted instantly. Sir, don't move! He shouted, stepping to block Tariq. Tariq's desperation gave him impossible strength. He rammed the guard's chest with a shoulder, sending the man staggering. The second guard couldn't release Shanice fast enough to intervene. In that split second, Tariq bypassed all defenses. He reached Nia. His hands shot out, grabbing the collar of her robe. He pulled hard. Nia's head jerked forward. She let out a sharp moan of pain. His other hand clawed at her shoulder, nails tearing the fabric. I'm going to kill you, he growled, face inches from hers. But Nia was no longer the woman paralyzed with fear 3 hours ago. That terror had been replaced with something raw and primal, Survival. As Tariq yanked her, Nia reacted. She drove her knee up with all her strength into his groin. Tariq grunted, doubling over, but he didn't release her. His rage only intensified. He started shaking her violently, hands like iron. "Let her go!" Ayana shouted, rushing forward. That's when the first guard recovered fully. He saw Tariq attacking Nia. No warnings, no hesitation. He surged forward, wrapping his massive arms around Tariq's chest in a bear hug so powerful it lifted Tariq slightly off his feet. "You are under arrest," the guard growled. Tariq struggled, snarling, but the combined weight and force of the guards held him fast. Nia staggered back, gasping for breath, adrenaline still coursing through her veins. For the first time all night, she dared to hope. The predators were finally contained. "You are under arrest." Tariq's body lifted off the floor, but his grip on Nia's clothes did not loosen. She was dragged with him, choking, clawing desperately at her robe. "Let go! Let go!" she screamed. Tariq, blinded by fury, now thrashed against the guard holding him. Kicks, elbows, twisting violently. It was a desperate, reckless, and brutal struggle. The guard's hold faltered. Tariq broke free and stumbled backward. His left foot caught on the unconscious Dr. Vaughn. Time seemed to slow. Tariq fell backward, but not onto the smooth floor. He crashed against the black metal frame of a server rack, heavy hardware shuddering under the impact. His back hit first, then his head snapped violently. A dry, horrifying crunch echoed. A sound like a branch snapping. Silence fell. Shanice's scream choked off. The guards froze. Even the server's hum seemed deafeningly loud. Tariq didn't collapse to the floor. He remained suspended, slumped against the rack, head hanging at a grotesque angle. His eyes, once ablaze with fury, stared at Nia, empty, shocked, confused. "Tariq!" whispered Nia, stepping forward cautiously. The guard approached. "Ambulance, now!" he barked. Tariq tried to speak, a gurgling whisper escaping. He attempted to move his hands, his legs. Nothing. A pure terror replaced his rage. Nia looked into the eyes of the man who had planned her death. He was truly, utterly trapped. Not in prison. Not behind bars. Trapped in his own body. "Lord have mercy," Ayana whispered, covering her mouth. Nia felt nothing. No satisfaction, no compassion, just cold emptiness. Karma had arrived, not in court, not in a cell, but here, in the heart of the server room, amidst the ruins of his evil plan. The hospital's security head entered, followed by two uniformed APD officers. Summoned through the live feed, they surveyed the scene. Shanice handcuffed, weeping, Dr. Vaughn unconscious on the floor. Tariq paralyzed against a server rack. Nia, torn but unbroken, standing tall in the aftermath. The game was over. Dawn crept slowly across the city. Sunlight filtered through the hospital windows, casting a pale glow. Nia sat in a quiet staff break room, wrapped in a thick blanket. Ayana sat beside her, holding a cup of tea. The server room had become a crime scene. Dr. Vaughn, once a man of power, faced life in prison for conspiracy, gross medical negligence, insurance fraud, and assault. Shanice, accomplice to murder, received 20 years. Ayana was celebrated as a hero and promoted to chief supervisor of ethics and patient compliance. Tariq, meanwhile, had been stabilized in the ICU. A burst fracture of the C4 vertebrae, complete quadriplegia, reliant on others for every motion. Nia stayed mostly in solitude, managing the fallout, filing for divorce, freezing assets, and voiding the life insurance policy. 1 month later, she visited Tariq in a long-term care facility. The man who had terrorized her now lay immobilized, staring at the ceiling, utterly powerless. Nia approached calmly, her steps measured, her expression serene. "I came to tell you one thing," she said softly. "You wanted to put me on an operating table, helpless, dependent on machines, so you could start a new life. Now, you are the one trapped. Forever." She straightened, looked down at him, and turned toward the door. "Enjoy the rest of your life, Tariq." Outside, the sun shone warmly. The morning air was crisp and alive. Nia inhaled deeply, feeling it fill her lungs. Free financially, legally, emotionally, she walked toward her car, toward the rest of her new life. The nightmare was over. She was finally free. Did you enjoy the story? I'd love to know. Which city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments and share your thoughts. If you liked this story, you can support me by sending a super thanks so I can continue bringing more thrilling stories like this one. Your support truly means the world. On the screen, you'll also see 2 other life stories I highly recommend. There's so much more waiting for you on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a story. Thank you again for your sweet support. I'm looking forward to reading your comments and sharing the next life story with love and respect. See you there.